The Dallas Cowboys are one of the most iconic and scrutinized franchises in professional sports, with expectations often exceeding the typical NFL team. For over 2 decades, the franchise has remained stuck in a cycle of playoff appearances and early exits, and as we head into 2025, the coaching situation is once again a hot topic. Fans have long debated the future of head coach Mike McCarthy, especially after the team's recent failure to advance beyond the divisional round. This brings us to the rising buzz around a somewhat surprising name, Brian Schottenheimer. While Schottenheimer might not be the first candidate that comes to mind for most Cowboys fans, his potential hiring as the next head coach is a topic that cannot be ignored. His journey in the NFL has been one of steady progression and development, but could that journey lead him to the most high-profile job in football? To understand why Schottenheimer is even being considered as a possible head coach candidate, we have to first explore his background. Schottenheimer is the son of Marty Schottenheimer, a well-respected head coach who spent time with multiple teams in the NFL, including the Cleveland Browns, Kansas City Chiefs, and San Diego Chargers. His father's legacy undoubtedly played a significant role in shaping Brian's career, as he got his start in coaching early. Brian Schottenheimer began his NFL career as the quarterback's coach for the New York Jets in 2001, under head coach Herm Edwards. From there, he moved on to become the offensive coordinator for the Jets, a position he held from 2006 to 2011. During his time with the Jets, Schottenheimer was largely responsible for helping to develop quarterbacks like Chad Pennington and Mark Sanchez, both of whom had varying degrees of success under his tutelage. After leaving the Jets, Schottenheimer spent time as the offensive coordinator for the St. Louis Rams, Seattle Seahawks, and, more recently, the Jacksonville Jaguars. While his time with the Rams and Seahawks was filled with both praise and criticism, his most successful run came during his tenure in Seattle, where he was part of the coaching staff that led the Seahawks to a Super Bowl victory in 2014. That Super Bowl win with Seattle saw Schottenheimer overseeing an offense that balanced the talents of the legendary Russell Wilson with a powerful running game. Schottenheimer's ability to blend these two elements made the Seahawks one of the most dangerous teams in the NFL at that time, and his success there cannot be overstated. However, as with any long tenure, there were challenges. After his stint in Seattle, Schottenheimer's later years with the Rams and Jaguars weren't quite as successful, particularly as the NFL continued to evolve into a more pass-heavy league. Nonetheless, Schottenheimer's reputation as a solid offensive mind remained intact. Now, in the context of the Cowboys, Schottenheimer's potential hiring brings a lot to the table. The Cowboys have long been seen as an offense-first team, especially with the offensive weapons they've had over the years: Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Tony Pollard, and the offensive line that has seen its fair share of success. The success of Dallas' offense will always be a focal point of any coaching search, and Schottenheimer's experience as an offensive coordinator gives him an edge in that area. His ability to develop quarterbacks, particularly young quarterbacks, is an area where the Cowboys may see a potential advantage, especially when considering the evolving nature of Dak Prescott's career. Prescott is coming off a season in which his performance showed flashes of brilliance but also inconsistencies. Some have pointed to coaching instability and a lack of development at the quarterback position as reasons for Doc's struggles, and Schottenheimer's track record with quarterbacks like Philip Rivers in San Diego and Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville could provide the kind of steady hand Prescott needs to reach his full potential. Schottenheimer has also had success working with mobile quarterbacks, an element that could be valuable when working with Prescott, who has the ability to move around and extend plays. Beyond his offensive expertise, Schottenheimer has also shown resilience in high-pressure environments. The Dallas Cowboys are one of the most high-profile teams in the NFL, and the job comes with an enormous amount of scrutiny. Schottenheimer's past stints in major football markets like New York and his work with teams like the Seahawks and Jaguars have exposed him to high-pressure situations. He's had to work through adversity in these environments, and that could serve him well as he steps into the biggest coaching job in the NFL. If Schottenheimer were to come to Dallas, he'd be expected to compete immediately. The Cowboys are a team with playoff aspirations, and Jerry Jones is known for being impatient when it comes to results. However, Schottenheimer's steady approach to coaching could be just what the Cowboys need: a stabilizing force who doesn't crack under pressure. Despite these potential positives, Schottenheimer's candidacy for head coach is not without its challenges. For one, his coaching style has been described as somewhat conservative, focusing on ball control and a balanced offense rather than a high-octane passing attack. Cowboys fans, especially those who have grown accustomed to the high-flying offenses of the 1990s or even the more pass-heavy schemes of recent years, might have concerns that Schottenheimer's approach could limit Dak Prescott's potential. The Cowboys' offense is at its best when it utilizes the full array of offensive weapons, including deep passes to CeeDee Lamb and explosive runs from Tony Pollard. Schottenheimer's offensive philosophy could work well for a team looking for a more grounded approach, but whether it aligns with the Cowboys' current offensive identity remains to be seen. Additionally, there's the matter of the overall culture of the team. The Cowboys have had their fair share of turnover at the head coaching position in recent years. Fans are eager for stability and for a coach who can lead the team to sustained success, and this brings us to the question of whether Schottenheimer is the right fit to build a championship culture in Dallas. There's no doubt that Schottenheimer has a wealth of experience, but being a head coach in Dallas requires more than just coaching expertise. It requires a leader who can command respect from the locker room, navigate the media spotlight, and lead a team through the ups and downs of an NFL season. Schottenheimer has never been a head coach in the NFL, so it's uncertain whether he has the leadership qualities necessary to manage such a high-profile role. Jerry Jones will undoubtedly have to consider this factor heavily when making his decision. On the other hand, Schottenheimer's extensive experience as an offensive coordinator gives him the knowledge and skills to construct a competitive team. His understanding of both the intricacies of offensive play calling and the nuances of managing a team would serve him well in the Cowboys' job. If Schottenheimer can convince Jerry Jones that he has what it takes to be the leader of the Dallas Cowboys, we could see him stepping into the role in the near future. If Schottenheimer were to take the job, the Cowboys would likely experience a shift in their offensive approach, and it could be a return to a more balanced, run-first offense. While it may not be the sexy, high-flying offense some fans want, it could be exactly what the team needs to establish consistency and a more disciplined approach. And given Schottenheimer's history of developing quarterbacks and working with some of the NFL's best, he could be just what Dak Prescott needs to return to elite form. Ultimately, the decision to hire Schottenheimer would send a clear message about the direction the Cowboys want to take. While it may be considered a safer hire compared to some of the other big names out there, it's not without its merits. Schottenheimer's experience, leadership ability, and offensive expertise could serve the Cowboys well as they attempt to finally break through the playoff ceiling. Fans will have to wait and see what Jerry Jones decides, but one thing's for sure: if Schottenheimer is the choice, the pressure will be on him to deliver immediate results. Cowboys fans have long dreamed of returning to the top of the NFC, and the question remains: will Brian Schottenheimer be the one to finally bring the franchise back to greatness? Stay tuned, because we might just be about to witness the dawn of a new era in Dallas.